if you ask me, I'll tell you the strongest point of this team is the back end of the bullpen. Not looking like it right now. Third baseman Chun to the plate. He is 2 for 4. It's a one-run ball game. This is Joe's game. The 0-1 pitch. Popped him up. Shallow center. Back goes the shortstop, Jung, and he makes the catch. And that is it. Hanwha hangs on to win this game. 4-3. So Hanwha 27-21-2. Just like I said, a game and a half now behind Kaiwoom Heroes. A little surprised that Kaiwoom is the top team, but they are 29-20. One tie. We are a half game ahead of LG. Game and a half ahead of Samsung Kia as well. So we have the 6th pick this year. Last year we were lucky. We had the 2nd pick in the draft. And that was a really thin draft. This year is way different. It's very, very different. So you can see here there's about 30 guys with a potential of 80. We're looking at 12 or 13 guys with a potential of 75. Handful of 70s here. Then you get into, this is really deep. Just keep in mind there are 10 teams that'll be picking from this. Last year, my number 2 pick had a overall potential of 45. But what we've got lined up potentially for this season is far beyond what we had last year. So this is going to be interesting. So I'm picking 6, but there are going to be players. There's going to be a lot of players. Think about this. 10 teams are going to divide these guys up. So not every one of these players will enter the league, of course. Some of them are going to go to college. Some of them are high school players going to college and things like that as well. First thing I did was looked at all this potential and was like, wow, where do we begin? So what I decided to do is, because I feel like we are a team, it's not really that far away. I mean, we're a game and a half out of first, 2 months into the season. We're a right-handed power bat and maybe some depth, and we're as good as anybody in the league, I think. So I kind of came over to the overall and said, who is closest to being ready? Like, are there any guys here who are close enough to come in here and be an impact? Jaebok Kang. This guy could pitch. This guy could, I mean, I probably wouldn't do it right away because I don't really need it. But if I took this guy, if I ended up with this guy, he could be in my bullpen right now. This guy seems to be considered the top pick. The mock draft has him going first. I believe it's Beck that's going first. Man, looks really good. Just see such an opportunity here to load up with some talented Korean players. And then that gives us so much more flexibility when it comes to filling the gaps that we can't fill with the foreign-born player. Because there are guys in here that can hit for power. We've got some outstanding left starters. This is just like I said, the overall. These are your college guys who might make it to the majors, if you want to think of it that way. And this guy right here, pretty strong outfielder. He could run the bases. Personality, can shut out stress. I mean, who wouldn't want this bat? Got real power, great contact, great eye. What I also decided to do was look at some key positions. So obviously pitching is always a key position. Catcher. Catcher is one of the toughest positions to fill with somebody who can swing the bat and to call you a good game and all that great stuff behind the plate. So we identified 3 guys in particular. This guy certainly isn't going to hurt you too bad at the plate, but look at these catching numbers. That arm is outstanding. Great blocker. Framing's going to get you pitches. So we're taking a look at this guy. He's a college player, so he's 22. So he'd hit right now as well as any of my catchers. This guy is probably better or almost as good as. He's probably better than any catcher on my roster. Take a look at Che. A little bit less of a power bat, more contact, but another guy just incredibly solid behind the plate. This guy less of a defensive catcher, but man, look at that power. That power combined with the contact. He's going to strike out, but he's going to hit you a ton of home runs. He's not going to steal any bases. But this guy's going to hit the ball out of the park. So anyway, there's other catchers here. Other really good. Those are three that I picked out. There's so many players in this draft that, yeah, it's a little overwhelming. So where else did we look at? We looked at shortstop. Another position that's really tough to fill. Top guy here on the list rates out more as a second baseman. And we were looking for a shortstop here, so we'll take a look at Kim. Look at this bat. Just think about that for a second. And look at this defense. It's not going to make too many errors. Well above average, every defensive category. This guy would be a hell of a third baseman, a hell of a shortstop. He'd be a better third baseman than shortstop, but he would be a really good shortstop. And look at this power. Now, what does this translate to in KBO in a season? Because you're playing less games. Because I would say that this guy could potentially hit 25, 30 home runs if we were playing 162 games now. So we'll say 20 some home runs, but that's your shortstop. Here's another Kim. Now look at this guy's ratings. Look at him at second base, third base, shortstop. He's actually defensively better than the guy we were just looking at. Doesn't have the power, but look at the contact. Batting average on balls in play. So this guy is going to be probably hit down in the lineup if he maxes all that potential. But man, you can hit this guy 6th, 5th, 6th, I'm thinking. Something like that, depending on how good your lineup is. But look at this defense. To me, one of the most important things is, it's just a baseball thing. Get strong up the middle. Get good at center field. Get good at short. Get good at second. Get good at catcher defensively. Strong up the middle. Then you can plug in other positions. But man, this guy, you can't get much stronger up the middle than this guy. And he's not going to be terrible. He's not going to be bad offensively. He's going to be pretty good offensively. He's 18. The first player we looked at, the first Kim, is 21. So a little more developed, a little quicker development. So that's as far as we've gotten with this. We haven't specifically looked at any other positions yet. We have scouted some other folks. Here are the guys that I'm putting on the short list as I've gone through this, and you'll see it's pretty obvious why I've put these guys on the list. Here's Kang. We looked at him already. Another pitcher, another relief pitcher. Actually, I like this guy better. This guy's a lefty too. Holds runners. Relaxed and confident. I'm just waiting to get back these scouting reports. That's the other thing too. So you need these scouting reports to know that these things are, what you're looking at is close. We have a really good scout. This game, you're so dependent on your scouting. And I just went out and got the best scout that was interested in coming to the KBO. And another relief pitcher. Not really looking to, that's not the first place I'm looking, but this is just the guys that stood out to me as I was perusing through too. This guy just wants to play baseball, not be bothered. I love that. Look at that, holding runners. Decent stamina for a guy who's considered a closer. This is Kim, that's shortstop we just looked at. We looked at this guy a little earlier, but we can talk about him again. Is this a guy that you take first if he's still around? Man, that is such just raw power. Right-handed, too. This guy's intriguing because I wish he ran a little better. but really could be just an outstanding, if you could plug this guy in left or right, actually he could play center too, honestly. But preferably corner outfield, he would be just all-star caliber defense. Not in love with the base running, but if that bat, because this is going to be power, this guy will hit 10 home runs, I bet. Anybody else? Yep, here's one of the catchers. Look at that bat. I see this guy. I might just take this guy and park him at first base in the minors and say, forget catching. Just focus on that bat. This guy's a bomber, man. Another catcher. We looked at him already. Just love the defense on this dude. Just thinking about, like, once that guy is developed, someone like this, if he was fully developed and ready to put in our lineup, imagine just how deep that makes our lineup now. We're going to get some talent. We have that goal to get the number 2 minor league team in the system. There's opportunities to get some talent there. The difficult thing about it is there's a lot of talent, so other teams are going to get better too. All right, so that's a look at the draft. We're going to call it a day. We're going to leave us at 27, 21, and 2. We picked up that win earlier today. Oh, let's look at May real quick before I go. So here we go. We're into June. April 8, 12, and 2. Not a great start. We were really worried about what we were doing. Is this how are we going to get through a whole season of this? May 18, 9, and 0. Everything picked up. People started coming back from injuries. The rotation started to roll into shape, and other players other than No started to consistently hit the ball a little bit. So, not knockout offensive numbers, but much improved over where we were. Timely hitting is probably what I caught. Running the bases, stolen bases in particular. We are 3rd in the league, stolen bases. I can't believe there's somebody stealing more bases than us. But apparently there's 2 other teams that run more than we do. We'll have to do something about that. Looking at pitching and defensive stats, pitching stats are solid. Overall, we're 2nd in the KBO, and our run average starters are 5th. Bullpen is 2nd. 3rd in runs allowed. I'll take 4th in WAR. The defense has overall been well, though lately we have made a few errors that have cost us in some situations. But overall, happy with the defense. Hoping to make that a little bit better. Went on a really nice run from the 15th really to the end of the month, where we were 11 wins and 4 losses from the 15th on. So started out all right, had a couple little hiccups in there, and then finished up well. There for a while we couldn't win a series, and we've been doing a good job of doing that, and that is one of the keys to baseball. Just win each series. You have a 3-game series against somebody, win 2. And by the end of the month, your record is going to be great. Just keep consistently doing that. And that's what we did in May that we weren't doing in April, winning series.